All right, what is going on, everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of Soulful Conversations, and you know who I am. I am Mr. Soul of a Man 504, aka Damon Alvarez. And on Soulful Conversations, we bring you the most amazing guests in the world. And today, like I said, you know what? I said I'm going higher. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I've delivered, and Miss Ajai Sanders, she's so gracefully came on the show today, and I'm so thankful. And and I always feel like can't nobody in the world introduce you like you can introduce yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you I give you Miss Ajai Sanders.
Hey, what'd you say your AKA was? AKA what?
Soul of a Man 504.
Soul of a Man 504. I like that. I like it. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm AJ Sanders. You probably know me as Dina from a different world, or uh I don't know, the girl that had the baby on Martin. I don't it depends on what you pay attention to. But I am actress and comedian, producer, writer, uh sister, daughter, friend, fabulous woman, God's child. Anyway, I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you, again, thank you so much for being here. Um, the first thing, I really wanted to get into was that, you've had such an amazing career, and you have you have so much more to do out here. So as far as working with, some of the greats, that you work with, what were some of the takeaways that you had along the way?
Well, when you say worked with the greats, do you mean as an actress or a comedian? Because I've been blessed with both.
Just a little bit of both.
Okay, oh man, so when I was working on A Different World, Debbie Allen knew everybody, right? So I got a chance to witness great performances by Roscoe Lee Brown, um, Robert Guillaume, and for those that don't know, he's known as Benson. You know, he has his own show
Yeah.
called Benson, but he was also a brilliant stage actor, as well as he was wonderful. He was like the wonderful comedy spark on this long time running series called Soap. Anyway, so the brilliance of, y'all remember Soap? Y'all probably don't remember that. Y'all probably too young. But anyway, I'm speaking to like an old generation right now. I was like, oh, wait a minute, millennials. But anyway, so I also got a chance to work with Diane Carroll, who is just, I was so starstruck, you know. And but what I witnessed was just her, you know, her professionalism,
Hmm.
and but she also carried herself with so much elegance, even in the dressing rooms, like in every way that she, you know, just carried herself. No matter what atmosphere she was in, she was still the same elegant, beautiful, and she was very nice too. I was very surprised. I don't know why, but I was very surprised at how friendly and nice she was. And so I paid attention. Whoopi Goldberg too, very nice, very warm, a lot prettier in person than I imagined. You know what I mean? I was very surprised about that. And she had flawless skin, soft spoken, and she gave us a lot of advice. She sat us down and just schooled us, you know. And so the takeaway I got from those women was to always behave with grace and dignity, and be a professional and be prepared. Also, treat the younger generation with respect. You know, don't talk down to them. You know, so that's what I try to do with younger actresses or younger comedians who are getting in the game, because it's really important. You know, it's all about how you make someone feel rather than them being impressed with you. You feel me? So,
Right.
And Jennifer Lewis, you know, you probably know her from Blackish, right? So she is an absolute, she's just so magnetic and dynamic and she's so electric. You know, she just lights up the room every time she walks in. And so there's just so many memories I have with Jennifer, and it just makes me laugh out loud to myself for no reason. And you know, so again, she always made me feel like I was okay, you know. And she's honest, very transparent too, and I was very impressed by that. And then, you know, on the comedy scene, you know, working with people like Chris Rock taught me a lot about being early, not just on time, being overly prepared, and um, and just the way that he ran his team of people. Like he ran a really tight ship, but it was an easy ride. You know, you didn't feel rigid, or you didn't feel confined by in any way, basically, because sometimes that can happen. But he was just cool, you know, just very shy. You know, I didn't realize that he'd be that shy. But once he stepped on the stage and took that microphone out, I mean, it was like the thunder, you know, that's how I compare it to, because it's a really quiet storm at first and it's real kind of calm. But when he takes the mic out, it's like thunder. And right away you hear the audience start to laugh out loud and and he's crazy. It's really crazy how to see that morph, that see that metamorphosis, like from the side of the stage all the way to the center stage is like it's a whole different person. So um, I've just been so blessed to have been around in the company of. I've worked with Jamie Foxx on the road too, as well as on his show, and he and David Allen Greer. I got a chance to just see, you know, just how it all just looks from backstage to the front of the stage, and how much fun it is, you know, away from the audience. You know, we have way more fun backstage than we do on stage. So
Kind of figured that. Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing. Just all the laughter. Because I know Jamie from, you know, we knew each other from way back before either one of us did anything. You know, we were working hard, you know, hitting the clubs up until like 2 and 3 in the morning, you know, trying to just work our craft out, you know, both of us from Texas. So to see us go from there to on the road and travel all over the country, it was just amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah, so a lot of mind-blowing experiences for you as far as working with those great individuals. And I think what the younger generation doesn't understand is that it's not going to be handed to you. You know that it's, you know, even though you know there's social media, and I saw how your eyes were just not. You're like, child, I can tell you some stories. So you know,
I
people.
want it now. It's like that commercial. I want it now. It's like
Right.
it doesn't work like that, but it don't work like that. You know, it really doesn't. And even though it may seem like it does, you know, it doesn't work like that. You know, we every single body that I have worked with and have watched and studied and, you know, admired, everybody has a struggle story. You have to pay your dues. I mean, you'll either pay now or pay later, but you're gonna have to pay your dues. You know, this thing is not a game, and people soon find that out when they start to pursue it.
Right. And I think, you know, one important thing is just to, like I've heard Sidney Poitier said, you know, you have to, you know, you got to pay your dues, but, you know, paying your dues helps you to be prepared for the moment. I've heard Denzel Washington say, you know, fall, what did he say? Fall 1,000
Forward,
times. Yeah. Fall.
fall
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah.
fall
So,
forward.
yeah.
I love
Uh,
that
yeah. But, you know, it's
because I love the statement because just because and I wish I had heard that in my 20s
mhm,
and in my 30s. I wish I had heard that earlier on, but I'm glad I heard it now because I have, you know, because I have this whole new life, you know, that I get to live, you know. I have this whole next chapter that I'm living now. And so falling forward, it means, so falling doesn't mean failure. It doesn't mean failure at all. It's just like, oh, I stumbled upon, okay, well, there was a bump. Let me go around that next time. You know what I mean? Like there's so
mhm.
many beautiful, positive outlooks that you can have with that particular statement. So I love that.
So with you and your belief, I guess, in with your how has your faith walk helped you as far as your belief in, let's say, the Most High, going along your journey with your career?
I grew up in Southern Baptist,
Hmm.
church and stuff. Good Street Baptist Church. Shout out to Good Street. Reverend C.A.W. Clark, pastor. Um, and I used to go to church with my great grandmother. So I've always believed, and I've always worshiped, and I've always served God. Um, as an adult, I've had to learn how to trust and really build a real actual relationship with God. So my relationship with God has really grown and manifested in so many different, I mean, it's just expanded so greatly. And so even though my foundation is something that I've always cherished, I do feel like that was more religion rather than spirituality. And so now I feel like I still have the same, relation. I still have the same God, if you will, but we have a different communication channel. We communicate differently, and I have a different relation. I have a tangible relationship with God now, rather than that Santa Claus God. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh God, please get me out of this. I promise I ain't gonna do it again. It ain't that kind of situation no more. Or oh please God, let me get this part. So that's kind of like on the surface, but it's one of the, now I have a relationship with kind of relationship where I just got it. I go, listen, okay, is this what you want me to do? Okay, then your will be done. If it's not what you want me to do, then I know I'll know. Based on what our relationship is, I'll know. He'll always show me what's for me and what's not for me. I'm learning that a lot more in the relationship department. The love can be tricky. That could be a trickier one area, but yeah, I mean, it's a real. So it's helped me in every way. Even when I used to pray those shallow prayers, it still helped me. And it still helped guide me. Because when I look back, when I sound like a gospel song now. When I look back on my life, and I wonder how I got over. I can see, really, I can really see that God was guiding me every step of the way, even when it didn't feel like He was. You know what I mean? So when I can look back and reflect, that gives me an even deeper trust, knowing that I'm going to be all right no matter what. No matter what's going on in the world, I know that I am guided, directed, and protected. So it gives me a sense of ease and comfort, and it helps me with my confidence too, because I don't have to worry. I don't have to wonder. I already know.
Yeah, I have a saying that says, God is my agent, so that's why I'm a star. And with that, I know that it's coming, it's unfolding. A lot of people, 2020, and I get it. Some people have never been through this before, but some people are just like flat giving up, like they are just giving up hope, throwing it. They're just
That's
throwing in the.
unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate. I tell people through tragedy comes opportunity. Even when I went through Katrina, opportunity. Even when I'm going through this, opportunity. You might say, well, Demond, what do you mean? I'm sitting here talking to AJ Sanders. I mean, sometimes, you have to use what you have going through your situation as leverage. You have to believe. Like, what did I have? My ability to reach out, use social media, and I had a picture. And from that, here we are. We're talking today. It could have been a no, but not. I always tell people some no's lead to greater yeses. So and what
You know what NO stands for?
what?
Next opportunity.
Right. Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right.
You're right.
So, but here's what and I agree with you. And I believe that adversity will always introduce you to who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, always, it always introduces a man or a woman to themselves. And, I have probably laughed more this year and have had more positive experiences this year than I probably have had in a while, you know. So, or should I just say just as much as I did before, you know, situations change, situations don't change me. And I think that's really what keeps me steady. But I think that, um, no, I believe that we were born for such a time as this, so it doesn't frighten me, and I'm not worried about what's going to happen. What I do know, though, is all those times that we talk about, all those paying dues, and all those struggling years, and all of those hungry years, you know, have really prepared me for a time like this. I think that when you have a strong foundation, you don't so you don't when you have a strong, it's just like a big tree, like an oak tree or a redwood tree. Those trees have really, 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 really deep roots and strong roots, so when a storm comes, they're unmovable. So that's kind of how I see myself. It's like, as long as I keep my feet strongly planted and deeply planted, whatever wind, whatever storm comes, whatever tornado, whatever, I mean, I'll blow and I'll bend, and some leaves may fall off, but I'm not going to be moved. And so the sun, and we'll see the sun rise again, and new leaves will blossom, and new life will, you know, will grow. And that's been my experience. I hate to be all metaphoric and all foo-foo on Sunday morning, but that's really what it is for me. You know, and if you don't really know that, then that means, I don't know what it means, but I do know that I'm grateful that I've had the tools, and I've learned tools to handle life on life's terms, and not just life on my terms, or life is not always good just because it's the way I want it to be. You know, life is still good regardless. And I have to, and I can, if I can continue to see it that way, and it will continuously open the path for me to success no matter what. And I associate with people that think the same way. You know, we worry, you know, things get heavy, we cry, don't get me wrong, we're human. But for the most part, we know that things are going to be all right because we're still here. Because let me just say, I've had a lot of experiences outside of what 2020 has presented that should have killed me a long time ago.
Mm.
So this right here is hopscotch. Seriously. Just hopping on the right square, man. Just hopping on the right square.
Right. I think that just going through some things in life helps you to be battle tested. And one thing I saw in your story was that you initially wanted to dance, right? Or you initially you said something happened with your foot. Can you
Yeah.
yeah, can you talk about that and how you didn't give up?
Well, so I started out, I've always wanted to be a professional dancer,
Mhm.
and I'm talking like, you know, fame. I wanted to be so much like Debbie Allen,
Right.
because
Okay.
when I first saw him, you know, in what was his name? Gene Anthony Ray. Remember him on Fame, the movie Fame? Oh,
Yeah.
he was so everything. So I wanted, that was what I had aspired to be since I was like 2 years old. So anyway, I come out to LA, and you know, you know, during that time, videos were really hot, and I wanted to dance in videos and commercials and things, and the dance scene was really hot. And um, so I went on a few auditions, and the competition was fierce. Not, not to mention, just, you know, it was a bazillion people going for the same part. And and I remember when I was auditioning for a McDonald's commercial, and I felt this really strange, odd snap in the arch of my left foot. I
Mm.
couldn't figure. I was like, "What is that?" You know how you try to stretch it out and
Right.
work it out. And I just, what is that? Anyway, I learned that I had ripped my tendons in my feet.
Mm.
And so when I had put a little cast on it, you know, doctor said, "Well, you probably won't be dancing again. So hopefully you'll have something else you want to pursue." And thank God, you know, stand-up comedy was available to me. And um, and that's what happened. You know, I started slinging jokes. Unbeknownst to me, that I became kind of good at it. And the rest is, as they say, is history. And what's really cool is I ended up working with Debbie Allen anyway.
I love it.
That's how
Like
God works.
right.
That's how God works, man. If you don't stop, he'll get you back to that original, you know, you'll always get there. may not be the way you wanted to get there, but you'll get there. So.
Right. Like in your mind, it's like God is probably like, oh, so that's what you thought? Okay, well, look,
Right.
let me throw in this curveball right quick, and
Okay.
that's gonna change you around. We're gonna bring you back this way. It's gonna be like that. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
So let me ask
Yep.
you now. So what gets you excited about life? At this point.
Oh, wow. So many things. I love, well, first of all, when I look in the faces of my beautiful niece and my four nephews, oh, please. They got me wrapped around every finger, dude. I'm just like, oh my God, okay. So this is what that feels like, right? And it's really wonderful. And so when I write a joke, when I write a joke, and I get so, I wrote a joke the other day, um, and I just can't wait to put it on stage. So that gets me excited. It gives me a lot of stuff to look forward to because writing a joke is magical, And Eddie Murphy taught me how to write, and he showed me the mechanics because he's so in love with comedy and the art of it. And I just got a chance to be friends with him back in the day around 92, 91, 92, 93. And he really showed me how to appreciate the art, and he showed me how to write. And so I use that skill set the way that he taught me. And so when I get to write a joke and then I see it manifest and grow, and then I can take it to the stage, it's just like, what? That really worked. Oh my God, that really worked. But it might take a while, it might take 6 months for you to really nurture it and mold it and get it all the right word in the right places. And it's all very scientific process. People think it's just like, hey, they think it's real, it's a goofy thing that you can just get up and just talk a lot of, trash, but it's a scientific process. That's why Dave Chappelle was like, "Oh man, this ain't about that," because that requires a whole nother level of mental capacity. Like you got to get your head in that, and it's not just off the cuff like people think it is.
Right. I can attest to it. Being being on that stage it's a whole nother world. It's you
Are you a comedian? Are you a comedian?
No.
Okay.
but I've been known to make people laugh, but I'm a writer and a few other things. So
Okay.
but it's interesting how 2020 worked because I was like, okay, cool, I want to get into acting, went up for the stage play, I got the part. This whole thing of the lockdown happened. I was like, okay, well, all right, so what's next? So, here I am doing the podcast.
So let me ask you a question. Like when you said you wanted to get into acting, like how did you pursue that in Houston?
And Houston, yeah, it's interesting. I ran across one of your old one of your old castmates from a different world.
I was gonna say, did
Yeah.
you join Charnel's course
Yeah,
workshop?
I was
Good.
I was going to. I started working, and this happened, and now I got to reach back out to her again because
Okay.
so I got to reach back out to her. So,
Okay.
and when I talked to her, I'm glad you brought. When I talked to her, she was like, "Okay, cool. Well, I said, hey, I do this, I do that, I'm doing this." She said, "All right, well, cool. You're ahead of the curve. Why don't you come in and check it out, and if you like it, blah blah blah." And then everything just kind of shut down, and so. Here we are now.
Isn't she wonderful?
Yeah, she's amazing. I thanked her for her, just I was a little starstruck. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, wow, I can't
How
believe
could you
that.
not be? She's
No.
so beautiful and elegant and gracious. How could you not be? She was probably one of my favorite people to work with.
Yeah, that I know. It's just that when I used to watch her in a different world, that smile. She was
Yes.
the ability to just hold that scene and yeah. She just but yeah,
Yeah.
if I hope she's still doing it, so I'll reach back out to her again
Yeah.
and and get back into that. So but like like me and my friend always say, whatever your talents are, throw everything out there. So and whatever whatever catches fire, you run with it. And once you do that, all the other things will start to, just like you said, how it came back around. You were able to work with, you were able to work with Debbie Allen. So,
You know what's funny too? I remember when I got the part, just like seeing her was like, that's really you. Being starstruck. I remember thinking in my head going, that's really her. Like for real, it's really her. Like I can really see her right now. Like I was really tripping. But the other side of my brain was like, girl, you just got the part. Don't get fired. So act like you know. But I didn't know. It was my first thing, And I was like, oh wow, that's because I didn't. Here's the thing: I never watched the show before I got on it, so I didn't really know. I mean, I kind of was familiar with who was on it, but I wasn't really taken with them. It was her. I was like, and then she brought Lena Horne on. I'm like, do you know how big of a deal this is? My great grandmother and my mother are my two biggest, my two biggest inspirations. So I would go to my great grandmother's house every weekend in South Dallas, right? And we would watch Lena Horne movies. And so I'm sitting there right across the table from her, like, this is bananas. Like, how did this even happen? Why am I here? How am I here? Okay, Lord, thank you for letting me be here. But, I was really, really, really like overwhelmed with just awe, right? So I didn't even have any lines in that show. I didn't care. I was happy to be there. I didn't care at all. I didn't gripe. I didn't complain. I was happy to be an extra that day. I was very okay with that. I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Yeah, I've heard people say that about Michael Jordan, like in the sports room, like people who are actually on the court with him, their rookie season or whatever, and they were just this glow around him, and they had to snap out of it and say like, I'm on the other team. I need to wake up.
Yeah.
Even though I'm in the, I got to get back into the moment.
I'm in the presence of greatness, and so the beauty of that is knowing it and not letting that moment pass and slip away and go, man, I was so caught up in what I was doing. I didn't realize that I was in the presence of great. Like I'm glad I didn't miss that, because
Right.
I can still hold on to it like right here. It's so great. And I can carry it with me into my work. That's what's so cool too.
So let me ask you this: what life lesson did you have to learn the hard way?
Oh, only one?
I mean, hey, speak your mind, speak your heart.
I think that, well, let me just try to keep it short. What I had to learn the hard way was that I am enough. I am plenty. I am all that I need to be. I'm all that is required. And when you get into the show business game and you start sort of moving forward in the game, it tends to chip away a little bit at your self-esteem and your spirit. And until you get to a place sometimes where you start to believe it. And, and that goes for stand-up comedy too. Like I was 19 years old when I started doing stand-up, and they've never seen anyone like me before at that point, this young, cute little college student type, energetic, women in comedy didn't look like me back then. And so I for over time, it felt like I felt like I had to adjust to their standards. Like somewhere along the line, I felt like, oh, I need to be like this to be more acceptable, or I need to dress like that so that they can take me seriously. Or in acting, I'm too light skinned to be dark skinned, but I'm too dark skinned to be light skinned, and I'm not pretty enough to be a leading lady, and I'm too plain, to be someone's love interest, but I'm too pretty to be a sidekick. So I'm stuck in the middle. You're like, so come on now, somebody give me something. I'm too old to be young. I can't play someone's mother because I look too young. but I can't play a student anymore because I've already done that. So I'm typecast in that. So they don't want to even see me for that. So, it chips away at you. And then you start to question your own abilities and start to question yourself. More than anything, that happened when Fancy was written for me by Jamie Foxx. Him and Bentley Evans hit the pilot and developed it, wrote Fancy specifically for me. Still got rejected by Warner Brothers and the studio heads. And that was the one moment of rejection that really made me question everything. Because I'm like, well, dang, it's written for you, but you still don't get, like, how does that even work? Like, I understand if you audition for something, but something is written for you, you're supposed to automatically just, slide into that role and go to work. Didn't happen that way for me. So that was a major spiritual upheaval I had to endure. But I can look back on it now and be grateful. For a long time, though, I couldn't see it for a long time. I was mad, angry, and bitter. And my faith was nowhere to be found because I was done. I was like, y'all can have this. 'Cause, I was mad, dude, but now I'm just like, ooh, wow. Because of some things that have transpired from that point on, I think that had I gotten it, I think I would have gotten lost and never to return.
Okay. So it's like
so God was really protecting me.
Yeah. Like one door closes, others will open, in a sense.
Well, one didn't open for a long time,
Really?
And
Okay.
again, God had to sit me down and really show me some stuff, and He had to strip me of some things, and I had to lose a lot of things. Friends being one of them. I lost a lot of material stuff, just because I was very, irresponsible in my spending, and had to learn some valuable lessons there. And He taught me a lot. And I think had I moved into that role and without any tools, see, I didn't have any tools. I didn't know how to be a good steward over my money. I didn't know how to be, okay with myself no matter what. There were so many spiritual lessons I needed to learn up until that point that probably other people have already conquered. I hadn't learned that yet. And I think that had I made all that money and gotten into those circles, I think that I would have ended up differently.
Mm.
Can
So
you hear what I'm not saying?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah,
All
I hear
right.
that. Yeah, I hear that a lot. One thing was interesting. I did a book tour in Detroit with the NAACP 2018. I met I met with it was a young lady. She worked with Disney. She was an executive. She was like, okay, send me your stuff and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, D, this is it, man. We about to get it, And I sent my stuff in, and I heard nothing. He was like, well, send it again. I sent it again. I heard nothing. But here I am, with an opportunity to start my own podcast and to talk to you. And you say, hey, why don't you just reach out? Why don't you just reach out to my homegirl? Now that I will do again. So the story is still unfolding. The story is still unfolding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nowhere near over yet. And again, if you don't get the phone call, don't take it personally, because that might be a bigger blessing than you'd imagine.
Right.
Oh, and you know what's really cool is that you don't really have to rely on the big boys anymore. That's what's so
Exactly.
cool. You know what I mean? We don't have to sit down and wait for the call. We can create our own success. We can create our own platforms. I have a Zoom room. I do the same thing here, where I bring a lot of comedians and artists together, and we just talk a lot of trash, share a lot of stories, and then we speak on the current topics of the day. And that happens every Thursday night. And you're welcome to come on, by the way, if ever you want
Oh
to.
yeah, I would love to.
We listen. It ain't. I'm gonna tell you right now. You better bring your big boy pants though, because we get real. We get really, 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 really real, and we don't go live. I record it, but we don't go live. But the blessing that came out of that was one of my friends, a writer producer, she hired me to work on Moesha. And she came on early on, like around April or May or something. And she called me up at night. She was like, girl, this is really good. You need to, do something with this. And so I didn't even know where she was working, and she told me where she was working. She's working for, a big, huge streaming company. And she was like, let's go to work. So, you never know what could happen after, over just, wanting to get together and have fun and create your own platform and give yourself a voice. We're not waiting around for anyone to give us anything anymore. And I think that's the game changer. And I think that's, and the cool thing about this whole lockdown is that it's made everybody has to go back down to square one and start from zero. Everybody has been leveled and equalized. So,
Right.
it's all fair game now, isn't it?
It's interesting. I had one of my what a mentor I had, the Sophia Stewart. She wrote the Matrix story. So she was saying like,
oh
yeah. So
how is she? Is she incredible or what?
Another one. I was talking to her on the phone, and I just, I'm just like that. I'll just pick up the phone if I could get the number some kind of way. Her number was online. I was like, I'm just call it. So I always wondered, was the story true? I heard the story for like 2 decades, about the Matrix, her and writing it and blah blah blah. So I called the number. She picked the phone up. And she was like, hello. She said, yeah, man, do you have something? Because normally when people call me, they ask a question. I said, man, I am so sorry. I didn't even know if you were real.
How'd you get her number?
How did I get her number? I think I just did some research. I was just doing some research one day, and I found something online, and it had her number on it. And so I just called it. And I think we talked for about a year. I'd say about a year. And she was like, listen, I'm trying to get y'all ready. I'm trying to get y'all prepared. I'm telling you, they're going to be looking for people like you, like people who, people of like Black people with stories. They're going to need that, She said, so I'm trying to get y'all, as prepared as possible. So, so from that, that's really what keeps me writing. So I always say, just be prepared for the opportunity, because you never know who you're going to talk to. You never know, who you're going to meet. And they're going to be like, well, hey, what do you have? Like, okay, well, look, I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. So me, I'm just trying to be as prepared for the moment as I possibly can be, So that's kind of like one of my MOs in a sense, you know what I mean? So that's why so that's why I don't stop. I don't quit. I just continue.
That's one of my mantras. That's one of my mantras. I always say, remain in a position of, always stay in a place of preparedness.
Right.
Okay. Because that's the will of God too. Also, I love what Les Brown, I used to listen to Les Brown all the time. You know Les Brown, the motivator?
Yeah.
Okay, so Les Brown used to always say, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity. It's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Wouldn't that suck if somebody walked up to you and was like, I'm looking for a script writer. Do you have any material? You'd be like, oh, you know what? I was getting ready to start working on something the other day. Just give me a couple weeks. Come on. They're going to be like, thanks, but no thanks.
Right. Like, hey, look, we're, I'm from the Cartoon Network and we're looking for blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, here you go. Here you go. So it's like I've already, got whatever. And that's why I just continue to do it, to continue to do what I'm doing. So to wrap this up in a pretty bow, and again, I want to thank you so much for your, just for your time and your energy. And, just the way that you, the way that you give back, it's almost like you leave these breadcrumbs for the generation behind you, and just to say like, look, you got to do some work. You know what I mean? I can't just, I just can't give you a golden ticket and you go see Willy Wonka. It just sometimes it don't work like that. So, it's like you and people like yourself in a realm and in the spectrum where you are, like you leave these breadcrumbs. And if you can, if you have the ability to kind of like look and kind of decode, like I would say the Matrix, in a sense. You know what I mean? It's like you do have the ability to, to reach out, but we have these these gifts and these talents that, especially as African Americans, that we are not tapping into, from our ancestors, from God, and everything else, and just the ability to speak things into existence. But I'm just gonna, what is one, or what's a great word of motivation that you can leave for those who feel like they are trying to achieve the unachievable and attain the unattainable?
What's, I'm sorry, what?
So
You're so eloquent. I was like, I was caught up in your really cool, like, eloquence. So I'm sorry.
oh
What was that?
uh
No, I
so,
was
so
like, yeah, and I'm all into it. Like, huh? Oh, wait, you want to ask me something? Okay.
now, for those who are trying
Sorry.
to, for those who are trying to chase their dreams, and trying to get to, where you are, in a sense, or for those who are just trying to start a business, go to Hollywood, start whatever they're trying to do. What's a word of advice that you can leave for
You
them?
know what? I think you and I really have already said it. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to pay your dues. It's necessary to do the groundwork. You can't just jump to the top without having a foundation. So if anybody asks me about acting, my suggestion has always been, especially if you're in Houston, go to Charnel's class and learn the technique and learn all of the different techniques that there are. And because it's not just about pretending to be somebody else. That's not it. That's called being schizophrenic. No disrespect to the mentally ill people section or community. Um, God, I really struggle with being politically correct. You know what I'm saying? That's, come on. So that's not what that is. Acting is a skill set, and then from there, I would suggest do theater and as far as stand-up comedy is concerned, I mean, I have a really unique story, so I can't really give anybody any direct advice. I was very blessed that I got a chance to study under so many great people because I came in and around that time at
Hmm.
a very good time where Arsenio and Eddie and Sinbad and Martin Lawrence and Tommy Davidson, like it was like both generations collided. Our new generation that was coming up, and Robert Townsend and Eddie Murphy's generation was also heavily and working a lot during that. So we were able to collide and grow and learn from each other and watch each other. So, but but having said that, you know, go work on your craft, learn how to write material. It's not just about talking trash. It's not just about being the funniest guy, at work. It is a skill set. Learn what the science is, the setup, hook, punchline, and it's a rhythm, and learn what your identity is comedically, what kind of humor you have. Like and read as much as you can since we can't really go to a lot of comedy clubs anymore. So study, there's everything's online. Study the greats, study everything from Pygmy Markham all the way up to, Key and Peele. Study everybody, the white, black, Jewish, watch everybody. That's what I did. I studied David Letterman, Johnny Carson, Robin Harris, you know what I mean? Like Eddie, I watched every single body that I could. Arsenio Hall, I mean, I watched everybody and learned what that skill set looks like. And be willing to roll up your sleeves and do the work. And the last thing I would say is, don't worry what's on the right or the left. Understand that you're already enough. All you got to do is just do the footwork. You're already enough. You already have everything you need. All you have to do is go for it.
And
And
there
I
you
say that to myself too. I have to
have.
remind myself that too. Listen, you got everything you need. Just keep doing it. Just keep working. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
true. Like I go live a lot on Facebook, and I'll tell people these whatever things, and sometimes I have to go back and listen to what I said, because sometimes the message, sometimes you can, deliver your own message that's needed right there in that moment. So,
Yeah,
ladies,
sometimes the messenger needs the lesson. more so than everybody else,
True. That's very true. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've seen your set twice. I saw the PG one and I saw the R-rated one on the cruise ship. Ladies, it was brilliant. I'm telling you. I was sitting. I think
Oh,
the last one I was sitting. Me and my girl I was sitting right up in front center stage, and I saw you. I'm like, she looks so familiar. And then I don't know. I saw something. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, she was on." I said, "Oh, that's where I know her from." Then that's when I walked up to you. We took a picture, and here we are today. So,
wow. Look at
yeah.
that. That's right. I
So like,
forgot that's how we met.
yeah. So like they say, every joke has the setup, the punchline. It's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I mean, it really, it's a rhythm. It's a song,
Yeah,
and
it is.
that's the life. We do have the same kind of lifestyle as a jazz artist, because we always trying to compose something new, and we're always like looking for something else, looking for our next adventure, our next piece of material, So we're always, looking around the world, keeping our eyes open at all times.
Yeah, I saw something else. Before we close, I saw something where you were gonna do something. I think you were doing an interview in Houston. I think it might have been for you were on a panel or something like that. It was recently, and you said that you were gonna put something together like a pool of talent of some people, and you were gonna start traveling around the country with it. Are you still going to be doing that like in the near future?
I would love that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, like a live variety show.
Yeah.
And that was my idea before, well, actually, that's what I had intended to do before I booked the cruises.
Hmm.
And once I got the cruises, I had to focus on, getting my sets ready. So I was, working a lot, getting prepared for that. But then I so I still would love to do that because what it is, it's a live variety show once a month that I do here, that I used to do here at the Nate Holden Theater, Repertory Theater here in LA, and it's called That Time of the Month, and it's a female produced, hosted comedy show that we do once a month, but we always have like a celebrity male guest, actors, dancers, spoken word artists, comedians, and it's a wonderful show. Um, don't so when the theaters open back up, I'd love to recast it and bring it because I love to see comedy intertwined with all other facets of entertainment because that's what I grew up on, like Carol Burnett show, Solid Gold, you know, all those variety shows, Laughing, you know what I mean? I grew up on I love different facets of entertainment, like Sonny and Cher show, and Cher had
Hmm.
her own, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what it is. It's sort of like a, you know, updated version of that, that sort of concept. So I would love that. I would love to come to Houston and pick up y'all and take y'all, and hit Dallas and then see what talent they got down there, and then go to St. Louis and see what's popping down there. Take our base, but then pick up, hire people that are already local talent there and showcase them in front of a live big audience. So that's the plan. So
Hmm.
whatever God says, okay, or whatever His will is, I'm gonna ride with that. But
Okay.
that's the plan.
All right. Well, and again, I just wanna thank you. Not only thank you so much for being on Soulful Conversations and just for being here for the people. You know what I mean? And so
Oh, of
yes.
course. It's my pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
No problem. And so well, within closing, would you like to tell everybody where you can be found, like social media wise?
AJ AI Sanders on IG. Well, I'm Stand Up Girl on Instagram.
Hmm.
Stand Up Girl with a U, and AJ Sanders on Facebook. And I'm also writing my book right now. I'm working on my book, so look out for that.
All
Gonna
right,
be
ladies and
interesting.
gentlemen. Again, I just want to say thank you. And again, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to a close, I just want to thank everybody for tuning into this amazing episode. And again, I am Mr. Damon Alvarez, aka Mr. Soul of a Man 504. And as always, folks, I'm out this piece. Peace.